That would have been funny, wouldn't
it? Which is a perpetual countdown.
Yes. We were playing with some things today, and what are you going to do? So many people here. So many people. We will wait for the number. It's 10. 10. Hopefully that won't take very long. Really don't have anything to drink either, do you?
Sparkling water.
Sparkling water. Lame sparkling water. Woo! Edition 39, Finn. This is the 39th. I don't know. We should probably figure this out earlier to try to get 40, because 39 is a terrible number to leave on, but I guess 2020 is kind of terrible. I really wish you had gotten on the ball and gotten us at least to 30.
Well, we could have gone with the odd number always looks better in pictures.
It's true. And 39, it has a nice little 3 and 9. I don't know. It's a little feng shui or something like that. But welcome everybody to the 39th edition of the Barriques Coffee, Wine, and Treat Show. Definitely something we started that we didn't think we would still be doing. But alas, here we are. We've got some fun stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show tonight, but that's okay. Finn and I are obviously not in the same place. It's unfortunate that Finn decided he wanted to abandon me here at Monroe Street and make me do all the hard work. The bonus, though, is that I don't have to share any of the things that we talk about tonight with Finn. I get to drink them all by myself, which is pretty great. So let's giddy up right on to the first thing for the night tonight. The Raza Malbec. I am not familiar with where La Rioja, Argentina is. Malbec, of course, the premier king grape of Argentina. And Raza's not a brand that I remember, Finn, that we've had in the store before, or am I just getting old and my memory is failing me?
No, this is actually a newer brand for us and newer to our importer. And we were just fortunate to kind of jump on a pile of this to round out the end of the year. And this is a cooperative, but a very cool cooperative, because they were actually the first co-op to be 100% certified fair trade from top to bottom, from growers through to pickers. And so their wines, support their community.
In Argentina specifically.
Unlike other wineries that have kind of used the labor frivolously, and they talk happily about them being hand-picked, grapes being hand-picked and things like that. But of course, that's at a laborer's cost, not actually seeing the dollars flow through to those people.
Yeah. Where in the world is La Rioja, Argentina?
This is that's north of Mendoza, if I remember right.
Okay. I wasn't a region. Well, I guess if I've done Argentina, it's always been either Mendoza or south of Mendoza. So I guess that would speak to why. And when you describe this Malbec in comparison to El Esteco or some of the other things that we've tried on the show and on the tastings and stuff like that, how would you sort of describe it?
I would say this one is definitely, I guess the first thing that came to me when I tasted it, it's more Zin-like. It's got much more of that plummy character to it. It's a much more plush, juicier style of Malbec. It's not, I guess, like the Zorzal, which is more red berry and tart and high acid. This is more full fuller, medium to fuller bodied flavor to it.
I mean, one of the things that's always sort of fascinated me is, so they're fair trade, yet this bottle on our shelves on a regular basis is $9.99, which is, if you think about how far away Argentina is to get all this glass and juice up here and be able to charge $9.99 for it, knowing how many hands it touches between them and us, how is that possible?
It is by them being one of I think they are the largest cooperative in Argentina. So they're working with a lot of small growers and the community coming together to be able to produce a larger volume of wine and actually distribute it outside Argentina. This is their premier line, and there are 3 tiers to it. So this is their regular terroir Malbec versus their reserve or Grand Reserve.
Have you had either of the other two by chance?
No.
Is this a Left Bank thing?
Yep.
Yeah, we should tell them to get us some samples, maybe try that at some point. This stuff, it's great.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, the thing about the Raza Malbec, which is our wine of the week this week, it's $9.99 regular retail, and it's on sale right now for $6.99, which is, I mean, actually, I will have to say, the only problem with these bottles when they showed up is they were all, if you can kind of see it, they're all half full. They were half full. And so that was a bummer. No, just kidding. Usually Finn and I split a bottle of wine and eat some pizza before the show. And since he's not here, I figured I needed to at least do my part and get half the bottle down, which I did. But no, $6.99 is what this thing costs, and that's a crazy price. I mean that, usually $6.99 it's just all fruit, like sort of flabby, no structure. This actually, even though it is maybe not completely true to the varietal, it has a lot of character to it. I would think anyway.
Yeah.
So, like everything that we're going to talk about tonight, it is available for sale out there in the barriquesmarket.com website under CWT for coffee, wine, and treats, which tonight it's pretty much all wine and actually a little bit of beer, but we'll talk about that in a second. Under events, CWT, the December 30th show, last show of 2020, you can get some of the Raza Malbec for $6.99. These are all available for pickup at just about all the Barriques locations. Is that a true statement? Maybe minus Atwood, minus, I think just about everybody.
No, everybody has it.
Yeah.
Except for one.
Well, and I know at least one of them is sold out. So anyway, if you're unable to get it, this is we sold this morning in our to our email group as a wine rack filler, which I thought was pretty appropriate if you've been emptying your wine rack over this past holiday week and want to juice things up for the beginning of 2021. This is a great choice, like hands down. So that's the Raza Malbec, regular $9.99, $6.99 on sale, barriquesmarket.com. And I do really want to, let's talk to those guys and see if we can get the higher end stuff. I'd be really curious. Do they make any of the whites, like Tarantes or anything like that?
Yeah, they produce Tarantes, they produce Cab. I think that's the main 3.
Yeah, so pretty like all the hardcore varietals that you would think coming out of Argentina, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, let's talk about tastings. We have been pounding these exclusive events that we've got coming up in January. You'll notice maybe one of them is missing. The High West tasting, which is going to take place on January 8th, is sold out, all gone. In fact, I think the only bottles that we have left are what you and I are going to drink. Is that true?
That is true.
Okay, good. So if you haven't had an opportunity to buy the High West tasting, and oh my God, are really dying to do it because it is going to be super awesome, hit Finn and I up, and we'll see what we can do. May not be anything, but we'll see what happens. The next week, though, you certainly can participate. We've got Four Graces, or the Four Graces. Winemaker Tim Jones is going to join us that evening. I think the neat thing about this is there's 4 different wines. It's $99. It's not super inexpensive, but the wines are definitely worth it. And if you have had an opportunity to do some of the virtual tastings with us in the past, Tim Jones joined us for the Acrobat canned wine tasting. This is something completely different than that. Which one of these, Finn, are you kind of like most fired up to try?
Well, I'm excited to play with their single vineyard Dundee Hills Pinot Noir. But
Yes.
like I've said in the past, the Pinot Blanc is smoking, and we took or committed to taking the rest of their Pinot Blanc that was available from this vintage because we can't get more of it. And I know once people try it, it's going to be a must-have.
Cool. That's not in store yet, I would assume.
Oh yeah, it's there.
Is there? Okay. Awesome. Something more to count in 2020. So that is the 15th, $99. You can still purchase that. Plenty of time, and it should be a lot of fun. And last but certainly not least, we have a few yet left of the Ridge Vineyards. This is definitely a more premium event. It's $150, 3 different wines. We've got the COO and winemaker from the Montebello Vineyard who's going to be joining us that evening. I mean, all 3 of these wines I'm pretty fired up to check out. I don't know, Finn, like you've probably had the Montebello Cab before, I would assume, right?
Oh yeah, all 3 wines are showstoppers. If I were to have them in a regular tasting like the Cabernet, it would be the signature cab for the whole tasting, where it would be the ultimate wine to taste at the end. Same with the Chardonnay, is absolutely amazing. And then Ridge is known for their Zinfandels. They're one of the classically known Zinfandel producers throughout California, going back into the late 80s, early 90s. You know, as far as like really when Zin became super popular.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember the early Wine Cave days, Ridge, Rosenblum, and Ravenswood, we sold a lot of those Zinfandels.
Yeah, it was the 3 R's.
Yep, the 3 R's. So that should be pretty great. That is the 22nd of January. And again, plenty of time still yet to grab those. At this point, there's maybe it's a birthday present or something like that, or an early Valentine's Day, or you could just give it to yourself because you made it through 2020. But that is the 22nd. And then we are sneaking a couple other tastings in earlier in the week, the 21st, Thursday the 21st of that week. We're still working on a few other things. Hopefully we'll finalize those in the next couple of days. We're doing another wine and trivia tasting. We're going to kind of try to do that every 3rd Thursday out through the next couple of months at least, and just sort of see how things go. Martin Lee will be our guest that night. And Finn, I know you have sat in on a couple of his events that he does with some of his friends, and he's been like literally doing trivia with people. I didn't realize, like 10 years. Like it's been a super long time. Like
since 2010, and I have done the tastings or done the trivia nights with him. Unfortunately, I'm always a trivia of one, and I highly recommend either getting a bottle for the tasting and have a friends get on a link with them and work as a team to try to win. Because trying to do it alone, I know that you and I didn't do very well either. But
I mean, I didn't do the worst.
True.
But I did not do well. I was thinking about other things at the time. There are 5 rounds of trivia. The tasting pack for the virtual wine and trivia event contains 2 different wines. It's $30, but you can upgrade that to a tasting pack of 5 different wines for $59, which is the way you want to go. Because even if you don't drink them all that night, or you shoot your wine budget for the next week or two, it's like $69 worth of wine for $59. So it's the best deal of the bunch. But if 29 bucks is more your style, that's great. You can participate in the full rounds of trivia. We'll definitely have some prizes. This time we're actually going to try to give them out. Like, we're going to actually not let people pick. We're just going to tell people what they get. And it should be a lot of fun. That is Thursday night, the 21st, third Thursday in January at 7 o'clock. And the deal with all these tastings, you sign up, buy one of these tasting packs, you come pick up the wine at the store, and then you'll get some an email with the Zoom connection instructions on how to join us that evening. We always have a guest, just about always have a guest, because, bring in some experts, winemakers, a trivia expert who's been doing this for 10 years, and they're a lot of fun. Some really probably one of the definite bright spots in this whole last 6 or 9 months of pandemic and what have you. So that is the tasting lineup, and hopefully more to come very soon on that. Okay, first, before we get to the bubbly, since that's what's on everybody's mind, Finn, I should have probably prompted you before you got on 5 minutes ago. One prediction for 2021 that doesn't involve when we're all going to take our masks off.
One prediction
for 2021, yes.
I think we're all going to drink more.
That's probably a pretty good prediction. Yes, I do think, though. Speaking of, I was joking about the massing. Yeah, there we go. That we should probably take a poll on when we actually will be allowed to take our masks off in 2021 in the store, and maybe have some sort of grand prize for that. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad idea. Given that you and I control when that happens, generally, that's probably not very fair to other people.
And you can only, there's only 365 days, and you're probably going to cut that in half. So you can only allow only a few people to actually vote in.
Yeah, we can split the prizes. We can always split a bottle of wine.
There you go.
If you wait till New Year's to drink sparkling wine, you are doing wine wrong, in our personal opinions. Sparkling wine is probably one of the, I would say actually, given that we did a bunch of sake tastings, I'll put wine along in the sake category, is one of the most under-consumed wine beverages that you should actually really be consuming on a regular basis. Would you agree with that, Finn?
Definitely. For my wife Erin and I, that's our go-to favorite. If we could drink champagne every day, you would do it. But there are so many awesome sparkling producers out there, and there's definitely a lot that are under the radar, kind of like the one that you're about to show off.
Yeah, well, tell us about the Marcel Cavalier Cremant de Jura.
So Jura is kind of sandwiched right up against the Swiss Alps. It's right along that eastern border of France, and their history of producing sparkling wines go back as far as champagne, as far as production and everything like that. The growing region is cooler, higher altitude, a lot more minerality than you would see from a Champagne region. And this particular one is 90% Chardonnay, with the remainder being Pinot Noir and Ploussard. But it's a very rich style. I mean, it's intense. I mean, that's a mouthful of a sparkling wine for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like super dry, of course, brut style. I mean, very dry.
Yeah.
Very dry, but like completely palate filling.
Yeah, it goes through for full barrel aging prior to going into bottle into the sparkling process of fermentation in the bottle, and the flavor profile is just it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's more powerful than what you would see out of champagne stylistically.
Chardonnay is great.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, 90%.
So we've got the Jura Brut. We've got their Rosé as well, which is really great. We just had to pick one of them tonight. I would probably drink both of them, except opening 2 bottles of sparkling wine and just having me by myself. I've got to work the next 2 days, so that's good. Hey, do you have any sparkling wine where you are, Finn?
We picked up 1 bottle of a Mum's Rosé.
Oh, okay. Something which we've got on the shelf.
Yeah, but I've got to go surfing for probably 1 more for tomorrow.
Well, I've got one right now. It tastes pretty good. I'm pretty happy that I'm not having to share. The Jura Brut is out there again in that same events CWT section. You'll see all the products that we're talking about tonight, including the Jura. It is listed at $21.99, but when you put it in your cart, I believe it will discount down to, I should know the answer to this, $19.99, $18.99. It's $2 or $3 off. It won't show on its face, but until I believe the 1st or 2nd of January, which gives you plenty of time to purchase one of these for any New Year's celebrations that you've got coming up. It'll save you $1 or $2. And it is really, if you would come into one of the stores and say, hey, give me a, not wall-priced sparkling wine that you can really get fired up about it, this is the easy pick, I would say, without, especially at the sub $20 price point. That'd be my pick anyway. If you were going to pick, though, any sparkling wine, Finn, what would it be and why? Not just the Jura.
Ooh. Well, if I had the pick of any sparkling wine out there, it would be my old pet friend Igliorie.
Oh gosh, we were just talking about that, weren't we?
Yep.
Has that just gotten I gotta think it's gotten insanely expensive.
It's unbelievably expensive. When we for the millennium, we were selling that for $29.99 a bottle. Mm-hmm. Right now, I think it's $80.
Oof. Okay.
So in 20 years, it's gone up 4-fold.
Yeah, well, not as bad as I might have thought.
Yeah,
but that's not cheap.
No.
I haven't had an $80 bottle of anything in a very long time, so
I don't even know if Igliorie is in Wisconsin anymore.
Well, there you go. Whoop.
I said if we could even get it, so.
Yeah. So sparkling wine, definitely not just for the New Year's, but you definitely need some for the New Year's because, dear God, we have to all be very happy that we're turning the calendar. I was so fired up about 2020, just like the whole thing about it. I like the 20 and the 20. I like the fact that we got into a new decade. And we started off with a bang and then we got banged. Just 2021 can only be better. The Jura Cremant Brut out there and available for sale. Grab some. You'll find it delicious. And it brings us to the last thing on our schedule tonight, which is, I wonder if Fred is out there. So he saw that we've got his little limousine rye shirt right there. That's pretty great. So we have been holding back hard to find spirits, wine, beer, and spirits, primarily spirits, for really the last 6 to 9 months. We've done some kind of rare pairings. They've all sold out right away. We get cases of the bourbon, Goose Island bourbon stout right after Thanksgiving. We get like 9 million phone calls for this stuff. And we decided to hold the case back because, I don't know, why not? So we've got one case of bourbon, the 2020 Bourbon County Stout. These are aged actually in a bunch of well-known whiskey barrels. Finn, are you a fan of this kind of beer?
No. It's too much. It's too much for me. I still have, I think, Bourbon County Stouts from the early 2000s.
Really?
607, yeah.
In the cellar that you have?
Yeah.
Wow, that would be. We should figure out how we could sell those. What do you think? Huh? Just kidding.
Or tasting.
Yeah, we're tasting. That's even better. I mean, it is 14.6% alcohol.
Yeah, that's the other part. I think
that is the part of it.
When I have a beer, I want to have like 2 or 3. That's like a half a beer and I'm out.
Yeah. It just leaches all that alcohol out of those bourbon barrels. I mean, like insane alcohol. But it is once a year. It's super limited in quantity. You will not find those right now out and available for sale at the barriquesmarket.com website because I have not put them out there yet. They're going to be available, one per person, starting at 8 o'clock. I'll make them live in the same spot. You just can kind of refresh the page a few times. We have a full case, so there will be 11 lucky people, which is one less than a case because I took one for myself, just because, I haven't had one in probably 4 or 5 years. I figure why not?
I've got a couple I can share it when I get back.
Okay, so that's what we'll do, Finn. We'll take the 2020 and pair it up with the other ones, and we'll do a thing.
Cool.
All right, so these will be out there at 8 o'clock. The 11 bottles of the bourbon, the Goose Island bourbon barrel stout, their imperial stout, 14.6% alcohol. One per person, if you would please. And I hope you guys enjoy that. We'll keep trying to hoard some of these things as we go along into 2021. My guess is we're still going to get a pretty good opportunity at some things given what's going on in the world. I don't know. Any good parting words, Finn, for 2020 that you can actually say on air that don't involve 4-letter words?
Well, I think a couple good things came out of this year. We definitely had a lot of fun doing Zoom tastings, and I've got to get to know a lot of cool winemakers. We've had several on throughout the year, so that's been a blast. Same with importers. That's been very, very cool. So I would say that's the positive to 2020 is I got to speak and hang out with winemakers, more so than having to travel to California and knock on their doors or other countries.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely learn more about wine, beer, and spirits in 2020 in total than any other single year, maybe except for the first year or two that we opened in 1998, probably.
Yeah, we definitely met some crazy distillers too.
Oh yeah, I mean, actually, all of them were insane. Like between Dancing Goat and the guys down in Texas. The Dancing Goat thing was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Those were all very fun. So thanks everybody for joining us for 39 episodes of 2020 Barriques Coffee, Wine, and Treats. We're going to keep on doing this. We've got some fun stuff planned for the new year. Hope you guys all have a great end of the year. Enjoy it, because you never know what's going to happen. It's bound to be better, but you just never know. We certainly have learned that. So cheers, everybody. Hope you guys have a great last couple days of 2020. Finn,
I'll see you next week
when you come home. Yeah.
Yep.
Cheers.